Life without a cell phone seems somewhat incomplete and quite harmless. It's become an unavoidable necessity of life. You need it to communicate with near and dear ones, you navigate your path with its help, and even entertain yourself through your cell phone. With the booming social media industry keeping us hooked to our smart devices 24/7, it's only a matter of time before this becomes an actual addiction. This small device has converged everything related to human life and connected with it. It's immensely useful but equally harmful when misused or somehow technology refuses to obey human desires or needs. So in today's video we'll be discussing 10 extremely embarrassing and some tragic incidents that could have been avoided if it weren't for cell phones. But before we begin, make sure you've subscribed to our channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. Walks into a bear. At times, people using cell phones behave as if they are addicted and run into trouble. In the morning at about 7 a.m, a person distracted by his cell phone directly bumped into a giant bear at La Crescenta, California, the USA, in 2010. The incident was recorded by the team of local TV station KTLA5. The person and the bear strolled the street at the same time, but in opposite directions. As he was staring at his phone, he didn't see the bear and kept typing a message, quite oblivious to the 300-pound or 136-kilogram bear confronting him. At the last moment, he looked up and gathered the courage to turn around, unhurt. Bear visits to the area are uncommon. They just visit on trash day to steal food from the garbage. The bear was caught by the local authorities, tranquilized, and taken back into the wild. Exploding face. The possibility of a cell phone exploding and blowing off someone's head is quite rare and incredibly frightening. Well, it happened in India when an 18-year-old girl named Uma Oram was using her cell phone that was also on charge while she was chatting to one of her relatives. Suddenly, her 5233 Nokia phone, manufactured in 2010, exploded, killing her. Her relative could not make out what had happened. Something caused the cell phone to blow up while it was on charge. This explosion left the unfortunate girl unconscious. Her hands burnt and the impact rattled her brain so much she was declared dead. A spokesperson for Nokia expressed grief on behalf of the company on the unfortunate incident, but nothing more happened. There was no investigation and no one even filed a lawsuit to get justice for the poor girl. The cell phone from 1943. A picture taken in 1943 at Taiwan Beach, Cornwall, England, shows a man carrying an item in his hand that closely resembles a cell phone. Well, one needs to think this guy is a time traveller from the future, or he's perhaps just busy fiddling with his fingers. Initially, the picture seems quite ordinary, but if you just concentrate a little bit, you'll notice a mysterious man in a brown jacket, his head tilted back, and his eyes focused as if he's indulgently typing a text to someone. People around him look unaware of his presence as if he's invisible to them. People's opinions are divided. Some believe he's an actual time traveller who stopped to check his mobile device, while others think he's simply picking his fingernails. Though the fingernails theory does seem more plausible, we were kind of hoping he really was a time traveller. Charging enlightening. Raja Ferreira de Oliveira faced an unusual situation. On a bad weather Sunday in Brazil, Raja decided to stay inside and meanwhile plugged in her dying mobile for charging and sat back relaxing. While she was busy using her mobile, the storm raged outside and a lightning thunderbolt struck her house. The electric charge travelled down through the house, passed through the electric socket, through the charging cord, and finally into Raja's body. She could not withstand this major electric shock and passed out on the spot, as when her family took her to the hospital she was declared dead. Despite the accident being unthinkable, she was the third person in the Brazilian state of Pará who was electrocuted during the same week. A person named Sameo Tavares, while talking on his phone, also was struck by lightning and died, and his phone acted as lyre for the electricity to come down and strike him. Fallen into sinkhole. A young girl in China was completely absorbed in her cell phone while she was treading on a sidewalk. She just landed in the sinkhole without even getting time to scream. Her disastrous fall was captured by a security camera installed in the vicinity. The sinkhole had been caused by the rainwater that seeped into the ground, leading the sidewalk to deteriorate and resulting in a hole having a diameter of 20 feet and 6 meters deep. The girl was unaware of the giant hole and failed to anticipate her sudden fall into the hole while she concentrated on typing on the cell phone. According to LA Times, she was rescued by a taxi driver who witnessed the incident and jumped into the sinkhole and brought her out. She was physically fine, but her mental state must have needed recovery. Killed in her sleep. A 14-year-old Kazakh girl named Alua Asetkazi Abzelbak fell asleep while listening to music on her cell phone. She lived in a village in Kazakhstan. Unluckily, she could not wake up again, as on the next morning she was found dead with her device beside her blown to pieces. It seems she'd plugged her cell phone into a power socket before sleeping and kept it beside her to enjoy the music. At some odd hour at night, her phone blew up like a pipe bomb, caused several head injuries and led to her death. The blast killed her instantaneously. The forensic report revealed that the cell phone exploded in the early hours of the morning due to overheating. The exact brand and details of the phone are not known. As a precautionary measure, we should never fall asleep while keeping a cell phone beside our head, particularly when it's on charge. Better keep it on a nightstand for the duration of charging. Straight off a cliff. Most phone users spend a lot of time on their cell phones while quite unaware of their surroundings. Same was the case with a young man in San Diego who was staring at his phone when he literally walked off the edge of a cliff and fell 60 feet down and breathed his last. This incident took place on a Friday near Sunset Boulevard, where lifeguards were also present. According to the witnesses, the person was absorbed in his cell phone screen. People present at the location immediately rushed to help and save him. They endangered their own lives and gave him CPR, but he was pronounced dead right at the spot. Subsequently, lifeguard Bill Bendy made a public service announcement warning people that using a cell phone while walking can be just as dangerous as it is while driving. Cut off and gone. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Cassandra Stratton, wife of political consultant Michael Stratton, moved from Denver to Miami, and she stayed at a certain condo building. Michael has worked on more than 10 presidential campaigns and had a busy schedule that involves a lot of traveling. He was away when the condo collapsed in Miami in 2021, resulting in the death of 99 people, including his wife. Tragically, Michael was connected with Cassandra exactly when the building crumpled. The horrific incident happened at about 1:30 a.m. Instead of sleeping, she was talking to her husband on the phone and told him that the building was shaking wildly, and abruptly the phone line went silent. Michael could not make out what was happening until he turned on the TV and saw the building where his wife was staying had completely collapsed. His hope to meet her alive could not materialize, and she died midway through their conversation. Phone in the bath. A Russian lady accountant named Evgenia Shulyatyeva, aged 26 years old, was found dead in the bath by her mother, who had rushed over to Evgenia's house when her daughter suddenly stopped responding to her messages. As the lady was alone, nobody knows what exactly happened in the bathtub, whether she was texting or just her phone was beside the tub while plugged in for charging and it slipped into the tub. It's one of a number of tragic incidents leading people to their deaths by using a cell phone while they are bathing. During the last few years, several young women also in their 20s lost their lives in such incidents in Russia alone. Apparently, phones come with water warnings, but we believe it needs to be electricity and water don't mix. A supermarket worker in Moscow, Anastasia, 20 years old, was found dead at her home while a phone clutched in her hand soaked in the tub. Similarly, the poker star Lilia Novikova died in June due to electric shock in her bathroom, whereas recently an unnamed 10-year-old schoolgirl dropped her phone in the bath while it was plugged in for charging. Coalition for Moral Telecommunication. John Douglas Allen, an elderly man from Michigan, was apprehended by police for placing a pair of pipe bombs at 2 different cell phone stores as he wanted to blow them to fragments. These bombs were also accompanied by threatening letters aimed towards a few cell phone towers. What was his motive behind going to all this trouble and threatening cell phone workers? John was annoyed as the communication companies were permitting the spread of immoral content through cell phones. He wanted common people to stop seeing profanity on their cell phones. On August 25th, an unidentified employee at a telecommunication tower in Michigan discovered a mysterious letter that linked to a group named Coalition for Moral Telecommunication. The letter demanded payment of $5 million for assisting to combat the spread of profanity, and also pointed if any member of the organization was apprehended, then the price would rise by 100 times. A month later, John was arrested after being filmed by a camera while leaving a box outside an AT&T store in Sault Ste. Marie and another at a store in Sheboygan. The boxes carried pipe bombs that, if exploded, could have conveniently killed all the people inside the stores. Police luckily defused the bombs in time and saved their lives. We hope you took away the right message from all these incidents. It's important that we check ourselves and use our smart devices responsibly. If we keep our noses buried in the screens, it's only a matter of time before we end up in a sinkhole too, or perhaps have our faces blown off. Do share your views with us in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back soon with another amazing video for you guys. Till then, goodbye.